Episode 1. It starts at a slightly worn-out mansion, where a young elf girl named Lily has just woken up. Cheerfully, she walks over to wake up the main character Xenos afterward. Lily gently prepares tea so the two of them can enjoy it together in a peaceful setting. Here, the story explains that a healing mage becomes stronger based on their rank at rank 3. They can only heal wounds. At rank 2, they can heal the whole body, and at rank 1, they have the power to make the entire world a better place. The history of this kingdom is closely tied to healers. Their significant contributions helped expand the territory and solidify the kingdom's position. At the Royal Hospital, many people study advanced healing magic and obtain a license before beginning their challenging journeys. However, in a remote, hidden corner of the kingdom, there's someone who never formally trained and doesn't even have a license. That person is none other than Xenos. At this moment, he just finished treating a patient and received his payment. After the patient left, Lily approached and told him he had a house call today. Xenos agreed and said he'd be back before sunset. Hearing that, Lily happily said she'd wait for him with dinner already prepared, right after she started cooking. Just then, the third resident of the house, a ghost named Carmilla, appeared. Watching Lily cook always made her want to try the food. She especially admired the delicious-looking stew. Lily proudly said her cooking was good because she wanted to become Xenos' wife someday. Carmilla smiled at that sweet enthusiasm and said she'd return to her room to rest. Just a few seconds later, someone knocked on the door. Lily opened it and found Zofia, a member of the lizard folk, looking for Xenos. Lily explained that he was out on a house call, but Zofia decided to wait. She had barely sat down when another guest arrived, Linga, a member of the Wolfkin. Once again, Lily had to explain that Xenos wasn't home. Linga looked disappointed because she was planning to lick him all over. Zofia insisted she was here first and told Linga to go home, which only started a full-blown argument. Lily got annoyed and declared that Xenos belonged to her. Surprisingly, that calmed both of them down. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the door and the girls immediately guessed who it was. Lily stepped outside and saw Lou, a girl from the Hawk tribe, had kicked the door down and barged in. Calmly, Lily repeated that Xenos wasn't home. Then she added that the others were already inside, but Loie needed to help fix the door before coming in. Once all three were gathered, Linga accused the others of being copycats. Loie asked if they came just for Lily's food. Meanwhile, Lily was putting finishing touches on her fragrant stew. She invited everyone to have dinner together while waiting for Xenos to return. A little later, Lily said she was going to hang up the laundry and asked them to watch the stew. The irresistible smell overwhelmed Linga and Loue. They sneaked a taste and soon couldn't stop eating. Zofia hesitated at first, afraid Lily would scold her, but eventually gave in to temptation and joined the secret feast. Within minutes, the stew was completely gone. The girls tried to come up with a reasonable excuse, but none of them could think of anything. When Lily returned and saw the chaotic scene, she smiled and asked for an explanation, but no one gave a good answer. She kept smiling, this time, with a much scarier smile, and asked them to confess again. The three girls started bickering, but the moment someone mentioned Xenos, they instantly changed the subject. They began comparing who was more attractive. Lily told them to stop, saying that if Xenos saw this, he'd be upset. She also shared that she was really looking forward to having dinner with everyone. Hearing that, the girls felt guilty and offered to help remake the food, but Lily was out of ingredients. Right then, Carmilla suddenly phased through the wall. She looked furious about what had happened. The three girls instantly knelt down and apologized with terrified expressions. While everyone was still panicking, Lily gently suggested that they all go outside together to gather ingredients and cook again from scratch. With just the two of them left, Carmilla scolded Lily for being too soft, but she also admitted that Lily had a very warm heart. As for Carmilla, if anyone dared eat her food, she'd curse the whole lot of them. But that was just her usual way of doing things. Lily softly replied that she was more mature and genuinely hoped everyone could get along. Even so, she wasn't sure if she'd finish cooking in time before Xenos came home. The scene shifts to our main character Xenos, who's now wandering through the town. During his walk, he notices a noblewoman who seems frail and exhausted. Just a few seconds later, a man showed up, furious that the girl had left without telling him. Turns out he was her master. She explained that she had a stomachache, went to the hospital, but couldn't get treated because she had no money. The man didn't care. He grabbed her hand and dragged her away, saying that wasn't an excuse to skip work. He dragged her to a cemetery and threw her hard onto a grave. This violent act unintentionally awakened an evil spirit, which began to possess the girl's frail body. While this was happening, the master kept cursing and insulting her, even stomping on her stomach without mercy. After that, he turned to leave, not wanting to waste time on what he saw as nonsense. But after just a few steps, he stopped and turned around, sensing something strange. By now, the evil spirit had fully taken over the girl. She lunged at him with claws and slashed a deep wound into his belly. Now completely possessed, she went berserk and lost all control. Terrified, the man ran for his life. While fleeing, he ran into Xenos. He immediately begged for help, saying his slave had gone crazy and was attacking him. Acting all innocent, he asked Xenos to defeat the girl for him. He promised a generous reward. Xenos began asking questions, wanting to investigate more. He asked why they were at the cemetery. The man vaguely replied that he was harvesting something, then tried to push Xenos to eliminate the girl, claiming he was seriously injured and needed a hospital. Just then, the girl attacked. Xenos quickly shoved the man out of the way to avoid the strike. The girl then picked up rocks and threw them repeatedly, but Xenos dodged with graceful, practiced movements. Impressed, the noble admired Xenos' skill and begged harder for him to kill her, but Xenos flat out refused. Because he doesn't kill people. The noble got angry and shouted that if nothing was done, he'd be killed. Besides, as a noble, he could always replace the slave girl. Still, Xenos firmly declined. He's a healer, someone who always tries to save lives. Seeing that the small rocks weren't working, the girl picked up a massive boulder and hurled it with incredible strength. Xenos reacted instantly, wrapping his arm in magical energy and smashing the rock to pieces with a single punch. The noble stood frozen, unable to believe a healer had such terrifying power. The battle continued. Xenos noticed that the girl was far quicker than an average demi-human. But as she closed in to strike, a magical barrier suddenly appeared, launching her into an old building. It collapsed and ended up trapping the noble underneath. Xenos then walked closer. He calmed the girl and used healing magic to drive the evil spirit out of her body. Once she returned to normal, he perfectly healed all her injuries. A little later, the noble crawled out from the rubble and witnessed everything Xenos had just done. Realizing Xenos was truly a healer, he begged for help. But Xenos coldly refused. He was off duty. If the noble wanted immediate treatment, he'd have to pay a huge fee. The noble quickly tossed a pouch full of sparkling gold coins. But Xenos still thought that wasn't enough. Offended, the noble argued that the money exceeded market rates and accused Xenos of extortion. In response, Xenos gave a slight smile and casually revealed that he was just an unlicensed back-alley healer. He had no official license. He even joked that his work was basically grave digging with extra steps. Hearing that, the noble immediately denied everything and acted like he didn't understand what Xenos meant. That's when Xenos remembered the man had mentioned harvesting earlier. But he didn't care enough to press further. Instead, he made another offer. The noble could hand over the girl in exchange for treatment. The noble agreed without hesitation. After getting healed, he handed Xenos the gold and the ownership papers for the girl. Xenos sat down beside the unconscious girl. He waited until she woke up. When she opened her eyes, he politely introduced himself and told her that he had purchased her. He also asked how to properly pronounce her name. The girl replied that her name was Tur. Right after, Xenos suddenly asked her to undress. He explained that since she was quite expensive, he needed to check if her body was in stable condition. Tur blushed but followed his request, only removing the top part of her clothes. Xenos stepped closer and gently placed his hand on her to examine her condition. Instantly, he discovered she had gallstones. The condition had caused inflammation of the bile ducts. Her poor posture had led to frequent abdominal pain, and the jaundice he had noticed earlier confirmed it. Without saying much, he used healing magic to completely remove the gallstones in just a moment. Once everything was done, Tur nervously asked what he had just done. Xenos casually replied that he operated, removed the stones and stitched her back up. No magical circles, no incantations, and not a single trace left behind. She was stunned, while Xenos said any healer could do it. For him, it was just routine work. Tur bowed her head in gratitude for his help, but she also felt unsure about how to repay him. Xenos told her she'd need to work to pay back the life debt. Without hesitation, Tur expressed her resolve. She said she'd do anything he asked, since she now belonged to him. Xenos asked if she knew where to find a certain herb he needed, and she quickly led him to the place. After they collected the herbs, Xenos declared her debt fully repaid. Tur still didn't feel satisfied, but Xenos insisted that he valued fairness in giving and receiving. From now on, he said he was returning her freedom, and emphasized that her life now belonged solely to herself, no longer owned by anyone. Hearing those words, Tur became emotional and confessed that she still didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. But once she figured it out, she promised she'd come back and tell him. Xenos gladly agreed. Before leaving, he added that if she ever got hurt again, she could still come to him, of course not for free. Xenos returned home and was welcomed by Lily, who happily announced that dinner was ready. The other girls had just finished gathering the ingredients. He didn't say anything, just quietly walked to his seat. From the corner, Carmilla peeked out and teased that he looked happy after meeting a special girl. But Xenos simply told her not to bother him. Just then, Lily came over and said she'd prepare a big feast. But first, she would make tea for the two of them to enjoy. That simple offer made Xenos smile and he accepted.